So before I get into it, I think this was like 3 or 4 years ago. So we went, and I was just kind of like, oh yeah, like let's go, let's have a good time, right? And my sister started getting sick, right? Like really like bad at night. Like she would wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning, right? And then it was like me, my mom, and my sister. We would all sleep in like in this like big room that had like two big beds, right? So I was in the bed next to the window, and she was on the other side. And she would wake up at 2 in the morning. I'm not kidding, and just stare at the wall. And I was like, what the fuck, like what the heck, like why is she doing that? And I'd be like, go back to sleep, and she would just kind of be like scared and all that. And then she wouldn't sleep. She kept getting sick, and I was like, oh, like let's take her. Let's ask a lady to come to the house so she could cleanse her and everything. And I was like, okay, and everything. And so the lady went upstairs in the room and everything, and I don't know what she was doing. I'm not really into that. And apparently it was like cleansing with some leaves and everything. And then she was like, it's good to go and everything. So she left, right? And then it was late at night. It was like 3 in the morning, right? And it's the same thing. She would wake up and keep staring at the wall. And I was like, what the heck? And then the morning of, we woke up and there was writings all over the wall. And I was like, who did this? The only one who had any like crayons or anything was my sister. So we all blamed it on her. And then she was like, no, like I didn't do this and stuff like that. So we're like, okay. Because it was like on like a taller space. So I was like, how could she reach it, like to write on the wall? So we're just scared and everything. And then again, it was at night, same thing. But I got like sick of it. I got sick of like what's it called, hearing her cough and everything. I went to this other room, and it was my cousin, right? So we would sleep on it, but this bed was tiny. It was like a little like twin sized bed. And I would just kind of like, where am I going to sleep, right? And then the other rooms, they were creepy. Like those rooms, when I would ever sleep in them before, when I would used to go, I would always hear something, or the door would always open. So I was just kind of like, okay, like I'll just sleep here. Like at least like he's here. And like I won't be scared to go to sleep. So I just like, okay, like I'm gonna sleep here on the floor. And when I was sleeping on the floor, I heard the front door open downstairs, because the house is a little bit older. So I heard the front door open, and like it makes like a squeaking noise and everything. And I was like, oh, maybe it's like my grandpa or something. Like he's coming back or something, because my grandpa would work all day and all night. I was like, oh, maybe it's him. And so I just like, oh, whatever. But I still couldn't go to sleep because it was really late. And then I started hearing footsteps, like heavy footsteps. I was like, what the heck? Like, my grandpa doesn't wear boots. Yo, my grandpa don't wear boots. He be wearing sandals. So I was like, what the heck? Like, who could this be? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but it got worse because in the room that we were staying in the middle, like my cousin was still sleeping. It was next to the stairs. It was like a stairwell like that, and it would go up, and I kept hearing like somebody touch on the rail, and I was just kind of like, what the heck? And then I heard heavy footsteps like going up the stairs, like if someone had big boots on. And I was just kind of like, I was scared. I kept hearing the footsteps come closer and closer and closer. And I kept hearing the footsteps and everything. And then I heard the footsteps get to like the door, right? The door of the room. And I was just kind of like, I was scared, like my heart was beating and everything, and I'm like I don't know who this is. And I kept hearing like heavy breathing, and I was so scared. And then I heard the door open a little bit. I heard the door open like a little bit, and I was like, fuck no. So I already put on the flash or whatever, and then I didn't hear anything. I just heard them, but then I didn't hear anything for like the next like couple hours or anything. So I don't know like what happened there. And then I ended up I woke up. What's it called? I didn't sleep until I saw the sun, because I was like, no, like who is gonna come get me? And so we're checking the cameras and everything, and we went back to last night, and we couldn't exactly get the footage from that time or anything. And then I checked like the following morning, and I didn't see anything. So I was just like, what the heck? Like, what did I just like see? And like to this day, like none of my family, like whenever I talk about it, they never believe me until my mom went. She went last year, and she was like, I heard someone open the door last night, and she was upstairs like in her room. And I was like, oh, what happened? Like I heard the door open, and it was like really late. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah, like it was really late, and she thought it was one of my grandpa's workers, because sometimes my grandpa's workers, they're there all night. And so she went downstairs, something I would never do, by the way. She went downstairs and she didn't see anything, and I was just like, what the heck? Like someone actually like going through the same thing, right? But I heard like on a video, like if someone, you ever hear like a knock or someone calling your name, but like no one's there, like don't actually go. But everyone in my family keeps asking me like, why don't you go back? Why don't you go back? And I'm like, I just don't like being here. Like I think it's just because of that experience and everything that I'm not willing to go back, you know. And there's other story times, of course, of like other experiences, other like horror experiences that I've had here, like in my house or something. But yeah, that's my whole story time. That's my whole story time. And if you guys wanna listen to any more horror stories that I do have, just follow me, subscribe to me, and then I'll be on that, because I have a lot of horror stories, especially my cousins. And then matter of fact, my cousin, when he went 2 years ago, he likes going, he would sleepwalk there, and here he doesn't sleepwalk at all. And I find that so crazy that that house holds like a specific like energy or vibe to it, that weird things just start coming out, and you start hearing stories too. Because when you're in Mexico, my grandpa lives in Mexico, whenever you're in Mexico, you always hear like the most craziest stories over there. But if you guys want to hear any more stories, please subscribe, follow me, and I'm gonna be uploading this soon. I just need to edit it. And my hair came out kind of cool, but thank you for watching.